Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And not only is it a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer, this is the episode that comes out before the Great Turkey War. The Great Turkey War is tomorrow, and Thanksgiving, the turkeys, the mashed potatoes, all that stuff is going to be time for a throwdown, or, like us wrestlers say, it's going to be time for a rumble. And joining me on the episode before we go into battle is a cosplayer who I had met at not Superstar Anime, Tidewater. I was going to say Tidewater Horror Convention, but no, Tidewater Comic Con, and that is Itz War Eagle. War Eagle, how are you doing today?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
And, my pleasure.
I'm excited to get into this interview. And before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So, War Eagle, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one, so tell everybody who you are.
Well, my real name's Tyler Wedgeworth. I grew up in a small town in South Georgia, tips of Georgia. Your typical southern town, cows, farms, horses, fishing, all that good stuff. Graduated in 2010, joined the Navy right afterwards. Came up here in 2011, 2016. After that, went to Spain, and now I'm right back here.
Nice. Right back in Virginia.
Right back. Wasn't expecting it, because when I picked we call them orders to let you know where you're going. Yeah. They told me I was going to Burlington, Washington. So I was like, okay, go to the West Coast, expand my horizon. Then I got them and they said Norfolk, Virginia. And I looked up at my guy. I was like, what? Yeah, you're going to Norfolk, buddy. I was like, all right.
That's funny, man. And I mean, being here in Virginia, how has the experience been for you? Because, I've been here my entire life, and I feel like, when it comes to Virginia weather, you never know what it's going to be like. Me and you, we were both just at NecoCon, and it was horrible, man. Yeah. Not the con, but just the weather.
The con was great, but, there's an old saying that I learned when I first got here. Virginia is the only place where you'll experience all 4 seasons in 2 days, It's not bad, it was the first big city I'd ever actually lived in. I consider it a big city. I know a lot of people don't. Definitely a culture shock, because I was raised around cornfields and just wide open small towns where everyone knew everyone, and now these skyscrapers and all this traffic and all that stuff. I will say though that the potholes and the traffic and the bridge are just horrid. Yes. If I could I'd get rid of it in a heartbeat if I could.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Growing up, I remember when I was younger, there would be people that would have low riders or have their cars low to the ground, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah,
you're just gonna mess up your car.
You're just asking for trouble.
So now I gotta ask you. You told us your origin story. Now tell us the cosplay origin story. What was it that led you to wanting to become a cosplayer?
I think I would always wanted to be a cosplayer. My dad was a huge nerd, my first ever exposure to comics or anything like that was probably not a good story, but when I was 5, my dad and me watched Spawn together, and, and that just got me hooked from there. And, I'd always been I don't know really how to get into the scene. I didn't know a lot of people that were into it, because, you and I come from the same cloth. When I grew up, you didn't talk about comics and all that stuff. You didn't tell anyone you watched anime, because then you're just asking for trouble, And then I finally ran into some friends up here. They said, hey, let's go to Wizard World Richmond back in 2015. And hey, Jason David Frank's going to be there, the Green Ranger. I was like, let's go. And that was my first con ever. I had one of those loose sold Spidey suits that you get at Walmart for $5. And just seeing the time and effort people put in their cosplays, and just, I'm amongst my people, So I could talk about this kind of stuff. And after that, meeting Jason David Frank, people saying hey, you got a great costume, even though I don't, just the friendly atmosphere, just the whole judge free thing, like, oh, you like this, oh, you're weird. None of that. It was just the friendliest environment I had ever been a part of. And after that, I was hooked.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you on that, man. I mean, it's like a lot of the cosplays that I wear, like I've purchased them online, and people will come up to me and like they'll just be like, yo, the quality is really good and whatnot. Like they'll always ask me if I made it myself. And I would love to, get to that level of making my own cosplays and whatnot. But like you were saying about the community, I know sometimes, you do have some rough apples in the bunch, but
yeah, of course,
most part, it's just like everybody is just so welcoming and they're nice and they compliment you on your cosplay and whatnot. So, I got to ask you, I've seen the costumes that you've done, you do some Marvel stuff. You got Spiderman that's right there behind me as well.
My man.
Like the cosplays that you do you make them yourself or do you order them online?
So I order when I first started cosplaying, it was strictly Spider-Man. Like that was my go-to. And I had gotten them from a company called the RPC Studio. Cause like even if, people are still welcoming, you're your worst critic.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking, I want these to be movie accurate, and then as I got more experience and as like I started like, having to spend more money on these suits, I was like, well, let me try something else. And, I made this from scratch. I had a lot of help from a very good friend of mine, Brandon James, who makes his own cosplays. Every cosplay he owns is made from scratch. Helped me a lot with it. And of course, my Tanjiro cosplay I bought online. Other than that, besides Tanjiro and the cosplay, Spidey cosplay, everything's been made.
It's nice. And speaking of your Tanjiro cosplay, and I said the name right because my friend's daughter, she got on me because I used to say Tanjiro, and she was like, "It's Tanjiro." And so like now, whenever like I do interviews and whatnot, I always send her the video. I'm just like, "Did I say it right?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's just so funny. But one thing that I love about your Tanjiro and some of the other things you've done is you don't wear a wig or do anything to change up your appearance or whatnot. And I was telling my friend's son because he had cosplayed as Datara, and I told him, I was like, for real, man, it's just like you could just use your natural hair. Like nobody's gonna judge you. I mean, if you want to wear a wig and all that stuff, like that's fine. But that's one of the cool things that I love about cosplay is because you can do a character accurate cosplay, but as long as you're having fun and you don't care how you look and you just love how you look, then that's all that really matters when you cosplay.
Right. And I always thought like there's no shame in taking pride in how you look. You see that throughout the community where people are just so comfortable in their own skin. And I thought, why not? Because wigs are hot. They're horrible to manage. Because I don't wear wigs. I've never worn a wig. So like I wore I was a Guardian from Destiny the last time we had met at Tidewater, and the hair's getting in my face, the bun's falling out. I'm just like, why am I doing this? How do people with long hair deal with this on a daily basis? I'm done.
No, I feel you on that. I mean, like my Deku wig, like when I first got it, it didn't get in my eyes, but it's just like after having it over time, it's still in good condition, but like now, like the hair just comes down to my eyes, and like I don't know how to style wigs. People look at my wigs and they're just like, "That looks really good. Did you style it?" I'm just like, "No, it just came like this." Like I'm not that experienced, but I'm learning, and that's one of the things that I love about cosplay because it's like the name of the channel, you level up. So I gotta ask you, like, what have been some of your favorite moments, like cosplaying over the years?
Who's that cosplayer?
It's Saturn Jupiter.
Well, my biggest moment was meeting Jason David Frank. Like I always thought that cosplays, before I really got knowledgeable on them, that they were just comic book artists and some voice actors. But when you see like people, when I knew that people like you grew up watching come to these things to just show their appreciation to the community for making them the people they are, that's great to me. So when I met Jason David Frank, he said, "Hey Spotty, what's up? Great outfit." And I was like, "Great outfit?" Like I look like I'm wearing like my dad's t-shirt right now, And the second one, the one that mostly hits dear to me was this little kid, like 5 years old, came up to me, Spider-Man. And then I realized, a lot of these people, they don't see, some 20-something grown adult in a spandex suit, they see their hero, especially for the kids, you know. So that's what really hit me. That's really what hit home for me, you know. So those are my two favorite moments.
Okay, I mean, well, you know, since we're talking about Spider-Man, and you know, you've done so many Spider-Man costumes, which Spider-Man is your favorite version?
Are we talking actors?
Well, you know what? Let me rewind that real quick, 'cause I don't want to say like favorite version. Like I meant to say like which Spider-Man outfit is your favorite? Like for me, for example, I really love the black suit Spidey. Like when I first saw that on Spider-Man the animated series when I was a kid, I was hooked. And the Spider-Man video game that had came out on the 64 and PlayStation. When you could, and I'm showing my age now, but when you could play as the armored suit Spidey, like the metallic one.
Oh, from the WB Kids Fox series. Bro. Yeah.
Those are my two favorite Spider-Man costumes. So which Spider-Man costume, since I just named my favorite two, which ones are yours?
My favorite ones are probably Superior Spider-Man. You know, when Doc Ock takes over Peter Parker. And honestly, the one I wear is the comic book one that looks like it jumped out of the comic. You know, that's my favorite suit that I like to wear, the one in the background right there. But if we're talking universe, Superior Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099.
Ooh, nice. Are you looking forward to the next Spider-Man into Across the Spider-Verse? That's the next one. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm so excited. I love it when they bring multiple Spider-Men into it.
So how did you feel about Spider-Man No Way Home?
I loved it. I saw Tobey Maguire and I was like, I remember being, God, how old was I when that movie came out? I was like maybe 10, 11. And seeing Tobey Maguire come out, just a wave of emotion came over me and I started cheering. Me and my friends are cheering and crying at the same time. And I loved it.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I remember when me and my boy went to go see it, and as soon as Andrew Garfield came through the portal, like everybody in the theater lost it. But then as soon as Tobey Maguire came, it was just such an awesome feeling, man. I was just like, wow. Because it's like, I love Tobey Maguire. I love the original Spider-Man movies. The Andrew Garfield movies, it's like, I feel like they could have been better if they had better writing. Like, I'm not a fan of the hipster Peter Parker. I'm sorry. But I know that there are people out there that love the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I'm not one of those type of people that's like, oh, well, your opinion is dumb. At the end of the day, we all love Spider-Man. And like, that's what makes us Spider-Man fans. Like, I remember when I was a kid, when I went to go see Spider-Man, like the theater was so packed, me and my brother had to sit on the floor. Like that's how packed it was. And I told my mom about it and she was just like, why didn't you say anything? Like you should have tried to look for a chair in there. I was like, Mom, it was dark. The theater was packed. Like, what were we supposed to do? There were other people sitting on the floor too.
Hey, like, I'm here to see Spider-Man. I can see Spider-Man uncomfortable.
Exactly. So, you know, now I want to ask you, because, you know, you started off with Spider-Man and you've done so many more cosplays over the years. Like, what have been some of your favorites that you've done?
I think honestly, this one, my Bloodhound skin from Apex Legends, is my most favorite because this is the first one I built from the ground up. And you know how it is, like when you build your own cosplay, like, and you get a lot of sense of pride for it. Like, hey, this is mine. I made this. No one else can take that away from me. You know, because like you said, you have bad apples that'll be like, oh, well, I made this. Yo, you bought yours. And they're kind of snobby about it. I'm not saying that's my motivation for doing it, but it was cool to like actually like build my own suit, build my own cosplay from the ground up. And just the process in it itself was amazing to me. So this one I'm wearing right now is probably my favorite.
Nice. That's awesome. And it's crazy that you say that, to piggyback off of something that you had just said about the bad apples. For my Kisame cosplay, it was my first time ever making a weapons prop. And because the sword was so long, it wouldn't fit in my card. So I had to break the handle off, unfortunately. But I was still able to, you know, I didn't bring any tape or anything with me. So I was still able to hold it. But somebody had commented and was like, yeah, your Kisame cosplay is awesome, but you know, don't act like I didn't notice that the handle was crooked on your sword. And I was just like, it don't matter if it was crooked, you know, at least I had the sword. And you know, it's like I had to, do what I had to do to the best of my ability.
Yeah,
So
you had to make
it's
do
like
with what you
me,
got.
man, hey, I'm one of those type of people. Like, I'll give somebody the time of day. It's like, don't come at me, And
Yeah.
like same thing for my friends and whatnot. It's just like, don't come after people, because at the end of the day, cosplay is supposed to be fun. We're all here to have a good
Right.
time, and like
Yeah.
everything. Like, there's gonna be blunders, like, so
You're gonna have malfunctions in your cosplays,
Exactly.
and
exactly.
to point on what you said, like I'll give someone the top of the day. It's funny you mentioned that, because there's a lot of people that I don't know if it's because they were bullied and they try to want to like be the big dog. Like you do realize like some of these people know how to throw hands.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
like me and my friends, like, yeah, I'm a nerd, but I'll still beat the shit out of you. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, it's too late. Everybody gets one F-bomb. Everybody gets one F-bomb.
I ain't gonna say an F-bomb.
No, you're good. But no, I totally understand that. And like, I remember one of my friends was telling me that like, you're not allowed to argue with people at cons. I was like, I wish somebody would.
Right. I wish someone would try me.
Yeah, man. But we're getting close to the end of the interview, and I gotta ask you, because these are two final questions. The first one I gotta ask is, what are some of your hobbies that you're into when you're not cosplaying?
Actually, but the majority of my time is video gaming. Like, that's my way to escape reality for a little bit. Fishing, and really just like being active, like going out on a nice sunny day and go fishing, or just hang out with my friends. Those are my hobbies.
Hey, and those sound like some really awesome hobbies, man. Especially fishing. I feel like fishing is very relaxing.
I could be out there for hours and not get a bite, and I will be completely content with life.
Yeah, bro. I'm the same way when it comes to the beach. Like, there was one time it was on the 4th of July, and just to let everybody that's a person of color know, like, you can get sunburned. Like, don't think that you can get sunburned. It was the 4th of July, and I stayed out in the water. I didn't put on any spray tan or anything. I stayed in the water for about like a good 4 to 5 hours. And then I remember the next day, like, I felt like, and I was in so much pain. So yes, make sure that you put on spray tan. But yeah, no, I totally get it, man. When you love something and you're passionate about something, it's just like time just stands still. Like,
it does.
Yeah.
Or if you're having a really great time, you think you're out there for 5 minutes, all of a sudden the sun's going down. Like, wait, what in the world? I just got out here.
Especially at conventions, man. It's just like time just goes by really fast. It's
this past weekend went by like that.
Yeah, man. So, like, we're here at the end of the interview, and like I said, this episode is coming out the day before the Great Turkey War, and I gotta ask you, everybody needs to know, what is your favorite dish that you love to have on Thanksgiving?
Ooh, I mean, I deep fried turkey. I make sweet potato pie. It'd have to be collard greens. I love me some collard greens now.
Okay. Hey, I love some collard greens too, especially if they made right. I like it a little bit spicy too, but I mean,
ain't nothing wrong with a little Tabasco.
Exactly.
Throw a few strips of bacon, or take the ham bone and throw it in there.
Yo, real talk. My mom, like, I had made some collard greens one time, and she was just like, "Where's the ham bone?" I was just like, I've never used the ham bone. And like, she took me up to the store and we bought one, and then I put it in there, and she was like, "Do you taste the difference now?" And I was, dang, I never.
It'll change your life.
Yeah, it changed my life. Oh my God. So, War Eagle, we're here at the end of the interview, and I just want to say thank you so much for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's been a long time coming.
I know. Hey, you are certainly welcome. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram at Itz War Eagle. You can find me on Twitch on Itz War Eagle, and my YouTube channel, Itz War Eagle.
Awesome. Y'all make sure that y'all follow and support him on all of his channels. You already know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, everybody, for watching this interview. Check out some more interviews we have here on the channel, along with reviews and reaction videos. Check out our podcast. We have brand new up every Tuesday. The link is down below in the description. And then the interview will be up here on Friday on YouTube in video form. So with that being said, prepare for the Great Turkey War. It is tomorrow. Stay safe. Keep that pinky up. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.